So welcome to this commentary on the Yogasutra that is based on your true self. And this, what you are also part of, this growing awareness of your true nature, your self-being awareness or consciousness that is right now taking place. There are so many people that talk about your true nature now, and it's readily available. Even when you look on social media, many voices now for this great awakening that is taking place, and that is coming from different alleyways and returning your birthright of knowing yourself, returning you to your God self. And it on some level there's a obviously there's a great neutrality to what appears, and to see this illusionary frame that we are all in. But on another level, for me, there's always great happiness in seeing this extensive sharing from so many of you, and really this return, and also this return in all these different facets of all these different domains, all these different religions, traditions. Everyone who founded something, whether it's a philosophy or a religion, actually with that wish to point people back to what they essentially are, and how it has been congested, literally congested, and misinterpreted, and wrongly translated, and how from so many alleyways there are now people that are waking up to their true essence, and that offer this wisdom back in whatever cultural background or traditional background or religious background you come from, but it is the same. It is the same pointing. Just holds different wordings, so as to help many people understand it from what they have learned, and to build bridges and references. Obviously, what you are before meaning, awareness is only watching all meanings, but it's a great happiness that sometimes is generated when I see the just these all these different lights of awakened hearts and beings holding up their lights in all these different facets. And the sutra I wanted to talk about is 2.5. It actually is the last sutra that talks about ignorance, and what is the outcome of ignoring our true self, of not remembering what we are, of not knowing ourselves. And the fundamental thing is really that that you take yourself to be what you think you are, this conditioned sense of self. It is simply what each one believes themselves to be throughout their lives, until there is a growing knowledge what is the true self, and until someone says, okay, I investigate this myself. I actually experientially inquire into the self, and I ask myself what I am. and stop thoughts. Until then, it is simply what you return to. You return to this conglomerate of thoughts, emotions, stories, memories, ideas, belief systems, perceptions. This is my physicality. And this belief is so massively strong. And it is simply then there isn't anything else than this, what is known to you as what you are, with always a dualistic perception, with then maybe certain glimpses of receiving something seemingly spiritual or divine from outside, having an experience, but returning always to this perception. And it's just, it wasn't taught. There weren't for a long time enough people that held up this light, this awakened light, to simply tell you it is just a change of being caught up in experience. This is what I am. I am experiencing this, and this is very much what I am too. This untainted awareness that is simply aware of what is generated as an experience continuously, and to return to this experientially more and more, that you actually, that this knowing what you are grows, that this awareness of you being this awareness grows. And this is also then a relearning and a reconfiguring that then happens to find yourself back in the expanse, and in that what is simply watching and alert to. And sometimes it is really the first time when you stop thoughts just for a second. You stop the mind, you stop all these thoughts you're having. And in this also, again, experientially, not because I say it, but you have to try it. In this gap, you become aware that existence is still there, that alertness is still there, that something is incredibly vigilant and continuously alert and aware, and to start moving out of this being grasped in experience and starting to detach, witnessing, becoming aware of not just how you can witness what is arising, but that this essence of self is uncontrived, is eternally free, it's unlimited, ungraspable, ever expansive, timeless. And so that's more and more happening, re-education of your inner divinity, and enough awake people holding up lights in all sorts of places, and also more people becoming interested, starting to actually hear. Let those who have ears listen. It is literally also to understand, to hear that message, to know, wow. And many of you do. you read you read the Yoga Sutras, for example, no matter if you realize and you know intrinsically what he's talking about. You read the Bible and you know what he's talking about is not outside of yourself. You read other scriptures, you read Rumi, and you're touched by your own inner remembrance of this utter beauty that you actually are. And all of you that are listening, it is a remembrance of what you essentially are, but it is also a remembrance of what you already know, what you have walked on before, what you have studied before. You feel as if it's the first time you're looking at these things, but there is intrinsic knowing of the self, but also intrinsic knowing of certain scriptures, intrinsic knowing of of your own divinity. And don't downcast this. Doesn't have to come from an egoic wow. You know, it has nothing to do with that, because what you're discovering has no stance, has no subject. So there isn't an aggrandizing, but it is also, you remember, you know, many of you know this already from childhood. It's why you're here also, to wake up, to hold up that light, to be here for divinity, for spirit, for 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 this path. And then whatever comes to you genuinely, naturally, all already actually encapsulated. Yeah, these kind of scriptures, these kind of pathways, these kind of knowings, experiences, all actually meant to point you back. But until there is a wish to wake up, and until you understand what is the true self, and until you experientially actually move from being inside these contents of experience to staying as being, abiding as awareness, until then you're caught up in this belief. And this is what Patanjali talks about in this sutra. And what then genuinely is taken, namely that this changing world is seen as what is real, the eternal. And the eternal is not changing. So you're nothing that is changing is you. This is also a helpful point. And nothing that is changing, not the changing body, the changing perceptions, the changing feelings, the changing emotions. They are the form expressing itself each moment at a time. Yes, they're not your eternal, essential nature. And what is then mistakenly taken on to be you is this ephemeral. And on some level, you always know. You look into the mirror and there is this changing form. You are aging, your body is changing all the time. And something in you isn't changing at all. You can have these moments also. You look at your childhood pictures or whatever it is. You know something more fundamental hasn't changed. So he says, you take what is ephemeral, you take that for the eternal, and you take that is tainted, unclear, the mind and its continuous thoughts, but also simply all these thoughts. You take that for clarity. You think that, oh, now I have a clear thought, I have a clear insight. And you think that is clarity. Clarity is really this, when you are abiding as awareness and you see all these thoughts arising. And there's a clarity. This is not you. It is just like, when you watch sometimes some countries, they have these lotto balls, that are generating all the time in this thing. And then you have your numbers that come. This is like thoughts. Thoughts are continuously generated, experiences generated, descriptions are generated, meanings are generated. All holds immense beauty for this creation, but you are not found in any of them. And then what is often also mistaken is that you take what is contracted actually as expansive. And this is also simply coming out of ignorance, because the person, this imagine you're wearing a costume and it's actually always too tight. Yeah. Imagine you're wearing some clothing and it's always too tight. But you have worn this costume for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years. And it was always too tight. At some point, you are so used to this that even this feels expansive to you, even though it's not expansive at all. It's always limited. Personal construct is always limited. Why? Because it is always looking through the mind, looking through filters, looking through conditioning, looking through a seemingly localized point of view that is somehow found within space-time. So it's always contracted, and you perceive this contraction as somehow expansive because it's all you know. And you, this is then taken on as what you think yourself to be. And with it, for a lot of people, the limitation that comes with it is also then a limitation that gets projected out on life, on what is possible for them, on what they are able to do, on their worthiness. Like it becomes more and more contracted for many people until what they perceive is possible in their lives is very, very minute and very far away from their actual limitlessness. That is always also already the case. And the last thing he mentions is what you take is namely this personal mind body you take to be the true self. And all the ways how we can modify this, then modify our look, modify our mind, modify our emotions, use affirmations, modify our psyche, modify our health, modify our things. It is all great. It also all has it's obviously important. You take care of yourself, you take care of this vessel, you take care of your life. You don't just discard it all. But the important point is you discriminate. You discriminate between what appears, even appears as you, and your true self as awareness. And you make that step away from the ignorance, and to see also these things clearly, to see we take this to be the true self. So many people still believe that we take this to be the true self. We take the ephemeral, what is changing, as our true self. We take the mind and what it suggests as the true self. What is tainted, we take as the as the true self. And obviously none of it is it. And so he points this out. He points out this lack of discrimination. That's why discrimination, viveka, such an important part of the yogic path, of starting to understand, starting to discriminate between what appears even as you and what is, discriminating between the nature of yourself and appearances, the forms, what is generated. Obviously, in the end, it is all one, but this discrimination is necessary, so necessary for you to realize what you are, essentially. So I hope that this commentary is helpful for you, and thanks so much for being here. Namaste.